Priority is that this corridor is a primary economic development driver for the city, providing key employment locations with numerous high-paying jobs that in turn translate into strong income tax revenue for our city.
So you have an applicant that's bringing mixed use, but not the mixed use you wanted. And I want to highlight this because, folks, I think we have to really address this. The reason is because you're not bringing the city enough tax revenue.
And Mr. and Mrs. Cordell, sorry to say, but you referencing the building was empty for a year. It's been more than a year. You guys were well aware that it was going empty much earlier than March 2023. And those efforts by the city, the ownership, the brokerage, were in no avail to lease 1 inch of that building.
The applicant or the representative would have reached out to the city staff before purchasing this building. We could have helped them understand the importance of this building and site as a premium office location.
So what is the standard? Right now, the standard's what staff says to the applicant. And oh, by the way, if you want to be an applicant, come before you buy the property so we can tell you if you can use it for what you want. That's what you've said to the community tonight. And that's wrong. That is absolutely, in my heart and soul, wrong.
While City Manager Crandall took issue that they did not come and talk to the city prior to their purchase, there, of course, is no requirement that they do so. What they have done since then is absolutely try to accommodate any of the city's legitimate concerns, and those efforts have been rebuffed.
The city has usurped the role of a private property owner, asserted itself as developer of my client's private property, and is attempting to voice its own subjective view of how that private property should be used and operated, to the complete exclusion of BPH's rights to operate its property as it sees fit.
City staff act as though a community center just doesn't fit in an office building, because that use does not fit their subjective desires for this site and what they think should be in it. The city staff apparently believes that they are more skilled developers and better judges of how our private property should be used than us, the actual owners of the property. Why is the city staff sending this community down a road of conflict and division for 9% of a vacant office building? The unfortunate reality is that we feel we are being treated differently because of who we are, and that any other developer who proposed this project would not have been treated as we have been.
The amendment protects the free expression of religion, which the staff, with its recommendations to you tonight, is explicitly asking you to reject space for worship and prayer, though permitted in a PUD-zoned area. And finally, the Federal Religious Land Use Act, RLUPA. It protects religious institutions, such as the property owner here, from burdensome or discriminatory zoning practices. As I said, I've been doing this for 20-some years. I have never seen a staff report and a planning commission recommendation like this. Again, to do anything other than accept this applicant's proposal needlessly exposes the city to damages, to attorney's fees under those federal laws meant to protect people such as this. You can spare the city that. You can spare its citizens and its taxpayers that.
I understand it's a very serious consideration for the city, to maximize our tax dollars, but I also realize that community wealth is not just measured in dollars. It's measured in actually it's measured in what we do for our people.
What we've done is we've created arbitrary standards within there to give the administrative state the ability to try to dictate what the citizens of the community have to bring in tax revenue to be able to develop their own property. That's so backwards to me, it's unbelievable.
I'll give one example to show how this city has treated different people differently. This city donated $1 million to the YMCA to build a community center, community-type facility. For 9 years and 11 months, there was a worship service every Sunday in that building. I know it because I went there, I listened to that music. It was Movement Church. They still have a prayer center in there. It is a Christian organization. These folks who are Muslim are asking for the same thing, and you're not giving it to them. There's absolutely no legal reason whatsoever that the city can point to deny BPH's application.
Staff members said, we do not want a school here. And when asked why, the answer was because payroll taxes.
I want to pause here to give council the right history of the application and address the absurd notion that the city has been compromising. As a former member of the Board of Zoning Appeals and City Council, I am extremely and very concerned with how BPH has been treated with its straightforward amendment request.
Regarding the process, it was obvious from our initial meetings with the staff and the city that they would not be collaborating in good faith, and I hate to say this. Any representation by staff or the administration that they were bargaining in good faith is nothing more than self-service.
If you deny this application tonight, or if you prove staff's new and reinvented development, what staff would like to see on this site, rather than what the private property owner actually wants, rather than what city code actually otherwise allows, and rather than what the actual real estate market will bear, then you, as members of council, will be needlessly subjecting this city, your constituents, and its taxpayers to liability for substantial damages and attorney's fees. Federal civil rights laws exist for situations just such as this.
Driving us to litigation, that's what you're doing. I'm sorry. You're going to drive us to litigation. We don't want to sue the city, but that's what you're driving us to.